Here with Urbana junior Tyrese McWilliams ahead of tonight's game. And Tyrese, it's been an up and down season for the Tigers, but how do you guys feel approaching this one against Central tonight?
All this week, in practice, we've just been basically preparing for, scouting and preparing for this team that they have. They have a lot of talented people on their team, but I feel like if we got the confidence for it, we go come out with the win tonight.
Absolutely, and this atmosphere, the atmosphere we see against Central and Centennial, it's unlike what you see, say, against a normal community or Bloomington, Danville. How does that affect what you guys do on the court? Is that something that plays into your psyche out there, or do you just come out and play the same game you'd play against anyone else?
I mean, in the history, Urbana has always, lost to Champaign teams, period. So, I think everyone's coming out tonight to, to come out and see like us, prove a point, and I feel like we can do that tonight because I feel like we have a very talented team, and I feel like we can get this win.
Yep, definitely. Well, Tyrese McWilliams joins us. He will be a big factor on the court for the Tigers tonight as they look to knock off the Central Maroons. Live inside Urbana High School's Oscar Adams Gymnasium, it's Tigers basketball on the Tigers Media Network tonight. The Central Maroons have crossed Wright Street, and they get set to take on our Urbana Tigers. Good evening, everybody. I am Joey Wright, and what a matchup we have in store for you here. The 5-9 Tigers hosting the 8-5 Maroons. And what a game we have in store for us tonight. Central starters Jaden Akins, Jonte Coleman, Keon Gill, Tim Finke, and Cleo Terry. Cleo Terry, in my opinion, the player to watch for Central tonight. Much has been made of the 6'4 Central freshman. He's had articles written about him in the News Gazette, airtime on the local news. And now the lineup for the Tigers. The starting five for Urbana: Tyron Pickett, Keanu Duke, Peyton Sheen, Tyrese McWilliams, and Miller Calhoun. The player to watch for Urbana tonight, Tyrese McWilliams, but also expect big games from Peyton Sheen and Tyron Pickett. A packed Oscar Adams Gymnasium tonight as we approach tip-off in this one. It is a crosstown rivalry matchup. These are the fun ones. In the center circle for Urbana, Tyrese McWilliams. He will match up with Cleo Terry for the Maroons, and we are just about set to get this one underway. Throw out all the hype and replace it with the action. It's McWilliams, it's Terry, it's Tigers basketball on the Tigers Media Network, and we're underway. The tip-off to Central, and already to Tim Finke. A lob interrupted by Keanu Duke. Jeff Finke and the Central Maroons coming out strong. You can tell that they want to set the pace in this one, and in a crosstown rivalry game like this, slam dunks, big threes, they mean a lot more. Here we go with Jaden Akins. And now it's Keon Gill. Gill picked up by Pickett. Pass goes over to Jaden Akins. Aikens guarded by Calhoun, nearly threw it away. Cleo Terry's there. He'll drive inside. Good defense from Miller. Terry gets his own rebound and gets the lay-in to go, and the Maroons up 2-0, 7:35 left, first quarter. Here's the Tigers' first possession, Tyron Pickett. Sat out last week against Normal Community, back in the lineup tonight. Goes inside to Tyrese McWilliams. It's off the board, no good. Rebound to Central. Here they go up the court. Driving inside to Terry. Pass interrupted. Peyton Sheen now to Pickett and back to Sheen. The Tigers coming out with momentum. That's something that Coach Verdell Jones told me he wanted to do throughout the week. Tigers have come out lethargic here on the Oscar Adams Gymnasium Judge Green court in the past. That's a problem they look to rectify tonight. 1 minute gone down in the first quarter, 7 to go. Peyton Sheen drives inside, off the glass, no good. Rebound to Central, they'll drive it up the court. Here's Keon Gill. Pass now goes back to Gill and over to Aikens, and Aikens traveled. First turnover of the game for either side. And Pickett will inbound for Urbana. Here's Duke. Rather, stays with Pickett. Inside to McWilliams. McWilliams nearly lost it. He's guarded by the Grand Canyon University commit Tim Finke. Nearly a turnover here, Urbana. And Tyron Pickett will maintain possession. Pickett nice handles. And a charging foul committed by Tyrese McWilliams. Spoke with him before the game, and he mentioned that the Tigers just looking to come out and play their game. You know, the season has had its ups and downs for this Tigers team so far, but they know they're close to getting over the hump. And tonight, a great opportunity to do that. Here's Tim Finke. I mentioned a commit to Grand Canyon University, and the pass goes out to Keon Gill, and Gill will find Aikens. Aikens will find Coleman. Coleman back to Finke, and inside, pass tipped away, but they're going to say it was last touched by Central, and Urbana will take over with 6:06 left in the first frame. Tyron Pickett, the Tigers' point guard, as I mentioned, was out last week. He and Carez Anderson do a nice job of splitting that point guard role. Looks like Carez is on the bench. Coach Verdell Jones has tried out a few different lineups to this point in the season, still kind of tinkering and seeing what works best for his roster. We've seen games where Miller has started out on the bench. Tonight he's in the lineup. We've seen games where Tyrese has started out on the bench in the lineup tonight. And the one consistent starter for the Tigers, Peyton Sheen, inbounds it to Pickett. Peyton Sheen is Urbana's leading scorer. Carez Anderson close behind him. And inside to McWilliams. Nice defense from Terry, but not good enough defense to prevent McWilliams from tying us up at 2 points apiece. And here's Coleman. Coleman across the court to Gill. And Gill will drive inside. Passes to Terry, who lost the ball because it was kicked by Miller Calhoun. Urbana will maintain possession. Rather, Central will maintain possession with 5:19 left in the first quarter. Again, I'm Joey Wright. Jason Liggett is behind our camera for Urbana Public Television and the NFHS Network tonight. We appreciate his service behind the camera, as it's Gill picked up by Pickett inside to Finke, who will go out in the corner to Aikens for three, and he can't knock it down. The rebound to Peyton Sheen, and the Tigers will push it up the court, and it's stolen away by Aikens, but it will go out of bounds on Jaden. And with just under 5 minutes left to go, in the first, Urbana will maintain possession. So it's Sheen to Pickett. And Sheen looking, rather Pickett looking, and McWilliams inside, and he carried. So Central will take over with 4:47 left in the first. And it's games like this, you know, a lot of pressure's on you as a player. The News Gazette is here. WDWS is here. Scott Beatty and Tim Dittman. So there is certainly a high media presence at this one compared to what you might see against Normal Community or a school like that, as Miller Calhoun grabs the rebound and Central pushes up, Urbana pushes it up the court. And let's see what Pickett does. He finds, or rather looks for, McWilliams. Pass was tipped by Central and out of bounds. Urbana will keep it.
Still early.
Here's Sheen. And I mentioned a pretty good media presence here tonight. That can put some extra pressure on you as a player. You know, you want to perform not only in front of the people who are here, but also the people who might follow along at home throughout the night tonight and tomorrow. As Miller Calhoun no good on the three. So we'll see if that's a factor throughout the night. And what a job by Miller Calhoun. He missed the three, came down to the other side of the court, takes a big charge there. Into the game for Central is Sam Beasley. You know, Miller Calhoun, one of the smartest players you'll find on the court. He has done color commentary with me on here for boys games, girls games. He knows a lot about basketball, really high motor. And he's a competitor, and that's what we see here. As it's Pickett driving in, gets fouled. This will be the first foul. That was not correct at all. This will, in fact, be the third foul for Central. Sam Beasley, fresh into the game, picks that one up. Sheen in the corner, guarded by Finke. And, you know, Tim Finke gets a lot of hype, and he's certainly a very good player, but Cleo Terry, the player I'm watching tonight, inside is Ty McWilliams, no good. Still tied up at 2, and here's Central with a chance to take the lead. And a travel. You know, these two teams love to run and gun and scored a pretty good clip. I thought it was going to take 60 or 70 points to win tonight's game, but here we are with 3:23 left in the first period. And Urbana and Central tied at 2, 3:20 left. As Pickett takes it up the court. He'll be picked up by Akins. Check that by Quentin Peacock. And inside, now to the corner, and Peyton Sheen for 3, no good. Little too much on that one, and Central driving. Jonte Coleman for 3. He knocks that one down, and Central goes up 5-2. Let's see how Urbana answers back. This team not really fazed by big moments until we get down to three minutes or so left in the fourth. You know, we've seen Urbana come back from deficits of 15, 20 points. So a 3-point deficit here early in the first, not something to be too concerned with, as Keanu Duke goes in, can't get it off the glass. And a foul against Urbana. Central and Jonte Coleman will inbound it. And folks, when I tell you it is packed here in the Oscar Adams Gymnasium, this is one of the best crowds I've ever seen. About as many people here as there were earlier in the year against Centennial. And let me tell you, if you're planning on going to the concession stand at any point in this game, you're not probably going to find another seat. That is how packed it is as Central misses a 3. And a near turnover here for Urbana. And a nice job by Tyron Pickett, who has the ball handling skills to find Miller Calhoun, who goes into the paint, gets it off the glass in a 1-point game here with 2 minutes left in the first quarter. Here we go with Beasley. Now to Peacock. Inside to Finke, who pulls up from just outside the paint. And that's why he's going to a D1 institution, as he gets that one to go. A 3-point lead now for the Maroons. Back to where it was just a few moments ago. Keanu Duke can't erase it. And here goes Central with a chance to take their largest lead of the evening. Tim Finke driving inside, and a nice pass out to the corner, and Jonte Coleman, who knocks down his second 3 of the evening. 10-4, favoring the Maroons. 1 minute and 20 seconds left in the first. Both teams played the first 5 minutes of this quarter fairly sluggishly, but now they're coming out. I shouldn't say sluggishly, because it's been a high-energy game. They just couldn't get anything to fall. And now here's Tim Finke pulling up a deep 3. He knocks that one down, 13-4. Urbana will have to answer back soon. Here's Pickett. And Central does have Urbana outsized. Peyton Sheen pulls up, can't knock a deep 3 of his own down. Miller Calhoun the rebound. From outside the paint, no good. Rebound Tim Finke. And that's that size advantage I was talking about. Urbana's going to have to get crafty if they want to get any buckets to go here. A deep three from Coleman. Can't knock his third one of the evening down. Rebound, Ty McWilliams. And up the court to Pickett, who goes over to Sheen. Didn't take the three. Spin move from outside of the paint off the glass. Can't quite draw the and one. But if there's anyone on the team that can draw contact and get to the free throw line, it's Peyton Sheen. And he'll go to the line for two. And Sheen knocks it down. The pep band at Urbana High School also sort of doubles as the student section. I see a lot of them throwing up the U, cheering Sheen on. 22 and 9/10 of a second left, and Sheen 2 for 2 at the stripe. Central does not appear to be in any hurry here, so they will likely hold for the final shot. Well, check that. They won't have the opportunity to do that. Pickett gets it off the glass. I guess they will still have an opportunity to get the last shot if they want it. 5 seconds left in the first. And Finke to Gill. Gill doesn't quite realize how much time's left on the clock. And we go to the second quarter. Urbana down 13-8. Folks, a few moments ago I said these two teams are playing sluggishly. That entirely the wrong word to use. I mean, these two teams coming out with so much energy. It's a fast-paced game. Even though they didn't get too much to fall in the opening 5 minutes of play, that 2-2 score should not have fooled anybody. Both teams just tore it up in the final 3 minutes of the frame. 13-8 favoring Central. Central, of course, coached by Jeff Finke. Urbana coached by Verdell Jones. And, you know, I talked to Coach V of Urbana a few days ago, and he just said it's about flipping the script. You know, you look at what this team has done. They lost to Centennial here by 2 points, Pure Emmanuel here by 2 points, here being the Oscar Adams Gym. They lost to Normal Community by 8 points here last Friday, although that 8 points was a little deceiving because that was a pretty close game down the stretch. And, you know, Coach Verdell Jones just said it's about getting over the hump, changing the culture here at Urbana, which has not been the most positive culture over the past few years. Coach V will be the first guy to tell you that. And he says it's just about changing the culture and getting the guys to play hard in the waning moments of the ball game. So I think if Urbana can kind of keep up with Central here, I keep wanting to call them Centennial, but if they can keep up with Central here down the stretch, it's going to be a really fun one to watch. Tyron Pickett with the ball. 7:45 left in the second quarter. Now it's Peyton Sheen. Jalen Booker is in the game for Central. And it's Sheen. Looked at the three, didn't take it. And Perez Anderson a little short. Anderson, I mentioned, I think he's just behind Peyton Sheen in the stats column for points per game. So Perez can score, no doubt about that. Chris Cross, the sophomore in the game. He's driving inside, has an open lane, gets it to go, a three-point game. Chris Cross, it's not too often you see a sophomore make the plays that he can. Such a great attitude. In fact, his sister Lauren Cross scored her 1,000th point for the Lady Tigers last night against Normal West. Turnover here. Here goes Gill. Gill jumps up. Almost drew enough contact for the foul. Tim Finke comes in, gets the rebound, gets it to go. 15-10 favoring the Maroons. Here's Pickett. The girls basketball team was due to leave for Ohio tonight to play in the 15th annual Classic in the country. As Gill goes in, knocks that one in. That tournament has been, well, it's still on, but Urbana decided not to go all the way to Ohio for fears of bad weather. Perez Anderson short. Peyton Sheen, the rebound, he's also a little short. And the Maroons with a 7-point lead can extend that here with this possession. 6 minutes and 5 seconds left to go, but congratulations to Lauren Cross, of course, her 1,000th point on the girls basketball team. She's played all 4 years, and that is definitely an accomplishment worth noting. Perez Anderson off the glass in a 5-point game. 5:45 left to go. Jeff Finke discusses something with the official. One thing Urbana's not going to do in this game is back down, I can tell you that. Gill's no good on the three. Rebound to Carez Anderson. Anderson pushes it up the court, drives inside, nearly turned it over, and in fact he does turn it over. Here goes Tim Finke, dunks it. And that brings the Central contingent onto their feet. 19-12 Central, and Urbana takes a timeout. And I mentioned earlier, you know, crosstown rivalry games, you know, big slam dunks, clutch three-pointers, those are what get the crowd into it. And I think if you're Urbana or even Central, if Urbana can get up and get some aerial action, you've got to realize that a dunk is worth 2 points and stay in the game. You know, you expect the crowd to get into it with something like that. You know, jump on their feet, make some noise. But you can't let that define how you play. And, of course, that dunk from Tim Finke, not the flashiest dunk in the world, but definitely perhaps a taste of what may be to come for the Maroons, especially Cleo Terry, you know, and I don't want to harp too much on him, but it's rare you see this kind of hype for a freshman. Had a big game against Centennial last week for the Maroons. Some big dunks that really got a lot of play in the media, both locally and a little beyond local. So, you know, it's just something you got to keep an eye on. Central definitely can get up and do that, and if you're Urbana, just stay in the game. Can I go a little more volume? And here's Kamari Ray Davis in the game for Urbana. And Kamari, he's a guy that can be pretty clutch for the Tigers. Saw him play down the stretch against Community last week. Empty possession there for Urbana. Central going the other way, inside to Finke. Goes back out. This is Gill. Gill inside to Finke. Gets fouled. Didn't get the, I mean, he dunked it. Drew contact. Not, you know, not the full dunk experience. As he'll go to the line to complete the and one. And Finke gets it to go. Finke, the leading scorer for Central tonight with 12 points. And with still 4:51 left to play in the fourth quarter, Tim Finke not backing down in his final Central Urbana game. And to the line will be Keon Gill. Tim Finke, of course, started his high school career at Centennial, moved over to Central when his father, Jeff, got the head coaching job. And Tim got a lot of offers, a lot of attention, I should say, from colleges. Just a few weeks ago, announced that he will be taking his talents to Grand Canyon University, home of the Antelopes, for his collegiate career. So definitely best wishes to Tim Finke and his collegiate endeavors. The Grand Canyon Antelopes in the Western Athletic Conference, whom Illinois defeated at the State Farm Center just a few weeks ago. .436 left to go. Urbana down 12. Central has caught fire and doubled them up. 24-12. So Urbana's going to have to answer here sooner rather than later. Definitely something that they are capable of doing. We'll see. Carez. .426, Urbana inbound. Out of bounds will stick with Urbana. A reminder to tune in tomorrow night, 5:45 Central Standard Time. The Tigers battle Rich Central boys varsity basketball. We will have that live on the Tigers Media Network. Here's Chris Cross, Perez Anderson on the U. And it's Cross. Handoff to Anderson, drives inside and travels. A costly turnover there for the Tigers. The Maroons will take over, 4:14 left in the second quarter. And this is an opportunity for them to break the game wide open. Urbana has to D-up, as the fans would say. And indeed, that's what they do there. A charging foul against Tim Finke. A nice job by Tyrese Williams to draw the block. Or draw the charge, rather. And the inbound goes to Cross. Here's Anderson. Anderson to the corner and Peyton Sheen. Sheen will drive inside, had a lane. And although Tim Finke came in, almost blocked it, Peyton Sheen rolls it in off the glass, a 10-point ball game. Just under 3 3/4 of a minute left in the second. So if Urbana can get it down to about 4 or 5 going into the second half, that would be ideal, as Perez is going to get called for the foul there. The 5th foul for the Tigers, so the Maroons aren't in the bonus yet. 2 of those fouls on Perez, 2 of those fouls on McWilliams, and into the game for Central, Quentin Peacock. Peacock comes in for Gill. Keon Gill comes out. Into the game for Urbana is Keanu Duke, and he'll replace Perez Anderson. Tim Finke for 3. No good. Rebound. Tyron Pickett. Pickett driving up the court. Pass to McWilliams inside under the rim, and he got it. Back to a single-digit deficit, an 8-point lead for the Maroons. 3:20 left, and here's Central. Beasley to Akins. Akins is driving in. Now Finke. Finke to the corner and Coleman. Coleman driving inside. Pass to the other corner and Akins. And it's stolen away by Pickett. Here go the Tigers. Beasley's back on defense for the Maroons, and a charge. Fans not happy with that one. Although the officials, of course, the bane of every fan's existence. No complaints here. That call didn't look too bad to me. Tim Finke for the Maroons. And Jonte Coleman, who in the first quarter was so good from 3. That's going to be a foul called against Chris Cross. He was going with Akins out of bounds to try and keep it alive. He gets called for the foul, the 7th foul of the game for Urbana. And the Tigers and the Maroons both in the 1-1 bonus. First free throw for Jaden Akins is good. Into the game for Urbana, Bryson Tatum. Tatum comes in to replace Peyton Sheen. Second free throw from Akins is good. Back to a 10-point game. And tipped out of bounds by Central. Urbana will maintain possession. Urbana just needs to close out the half with a nice, easy game. You know, no turnovers. If you don't score, whatever. But in the possession with a shot. Don't end it with a turnover, you know, a steal. Something like that. You've got to at least put up shots if you're the Tigers, and it's stolen away by the Maroons and Jonte Coleman. Coleman all the way over to the corner, and Peacock for 3. It's short. Rebound. Peacock gets his own board, and it goes to Akins in the corner for 3. No good. Rebound. Keanu Duke. Duke to Pickett and Chris Cross pulling up. A two-pointer, no good, in and out. Tatum couldn't quite grab the rebound, and a foul called. To the line, and the 1-and-1, Quentin Peacock. 2 minutes are left in the first half. Really, the attendance here tonight, it's a who's who of the Champaign-Urbana community. Urbana School Superintendent Don Owen is here. Several people from the Champaign-Urbana High School basketball community are around. I've seen people from the IHSA here. Tim Finke no good for three, and the rebound to Keanu Duke. Urbana has done a pretty good job on the boards tonight, considering the size disadvantage that they're at, and Peyton Sheen, a contested three, not the best look he could have taken there. Up the court, and that's gonna be out on Central, but they call it out on Urbana. It looked like Central was the last team to touch that from my vantage point, but I guess they say that Urbana came in and tipped it out, which is an understandable call. There were several arms and limbs in that area, so Central's with the ball now, and Tim Finke. Tim Finke, what a move. Got his own rebound. Chris Cross, the foul. Check that, Keanu Duke, the foul. That'll be his first. That was a heck of a move from Tim, and that's why he's playing Division I basketball. Pivot foot, little spin move action there. Didn't get the shot to go, but he got his own rebound. And the first free throw, no good. Chance of GCU from the student section. Of course, an allusion to Grand Canyon University. And Finke good for 1 of 2 at the line. And a player like Tim, I don't think the student section chant is going to have much of an influence on his free throw game at any point in this one, but definitely a fun thing to see there, as it's Pickett, guarded by Peacock, draws the foul. For Quentin Peacock, that's his first foul. Urbana in the 1-and-1 bonus. And it's Tyron Pickett. Pickett's first free throw is good, brings it back to a 10-point game. Tyron, a senior, clocks in at 5'7", 120 pounds. And here's Finke. And a turnover. Peyton Sheen gets in there, steals it away. Under a minute left in the first half. Pickett, guarded by Jonte Coleman. And tested inside, finds Chris Cross. Cross to Duke. Urbana in no rush. I don't think they're going to hold for the final shot, but they are definitely going to take their time and find a look that suits them here. And Tyron Pickett's put his handles on display tonight. Such a great ball handler. Duke will drive inside, off the glass, an 8-point game, and draws the foul. And 1, Keanu Duke. 24 6/10 of a second on the board. Duke could make it a 7-point game. Tiger fans throw up the U with their hands, and it's good. A 7-point game now. Of course, the danger here if you're Urbana, Central's got the ball in their court. They can end the quarter and the half with some momentum. That's what we saw against Normal Community last week. Normal Community, the first 2 quarters of the game, they ended with buzzer-beating threes. But if you're Urbana and you can enter the locker room down 7, you'll take it. Here's Coleman. Coleman finds Jalen Booker. 6 seconds, now 5 seconds, and it's in the hands of Tim Finke, who will pull up for 3. It's going to be short. Rebound to Booker. Got it up at the buzzer. No good, and we will go to the locker room with the Maroons up 27-20. So that's all from the first half of a packed Oscar Adams Gymnasium. Definitely a fast-paced half of basketball. Neither team could get on the board in the opening 4 or 5 minutes of the first quarter. That didn't slow them down thereafter. And Urbana's down 27-20. We'll be back in a few minutes. Keep watching the Tigers Media Network. Back inside the Oscar Adams Gymnasium, the second half of basketball about set to get underway. Central leading Urbana 27-20. I'm Joey Wright as we get set to settle in for the conclusion of this rivalry match. Quick look at the scoreboard indicates Tim Finke, the leading scorer for the Maroons with 13 points tonight. Urbana led by Ty McWilliams and Peyton Sheen, 4 points apiece for the Tigers. The Tigers and the Maroons both like to move the basketball at a pretty quick pace. Central has the size advantage and a lob to Tim Finke. He's going to get the and one on the first play of the third quarter. Went up for the alley-oop and finished, drew the foul. Foul against Keanu Duke, his second foul of the evening. That's one fewer foul than he has points. 3 points for Duke as Tim Finke with 15 now at the line, converts, makes it a 10-point game. You know, if there's one thing Urbana never is, it's out of a ball game. We've seen them fight, compete, and come back and ultimately make a ball game out of deficits of, 13, 15, 20 points. So a 10-point deficit should not be alarming for Tigers fans at the moment. As Tyrese McWilliams went in and got that stuffed. Urbana retains possession here, stolen away. They don't retain possession anymore. Jaden Akins, and it's now stolen away by Keanu Duke. Duke to Pickett. Pickett will pull up, drives inside, and doesn't get it. The Tigers they've got to get these shots to go. I mean, you can't win a basketball game if you don't put the ball in the hoop. 7 minutes and 5 seconds left in the third. Tigers down 10. If you're just joining us, it was a 2-2 game for most of the first quarter. It wasn't until about 3 minutes left that both of these teams started picking it up. 3 ball in the corner. It's good for the Maroons. Jaden Akins. The Tigers, they've just got to answer. I mean, this is going to be a shootout. Only question is what do the Tigers bring to it? Stolen away, Tim Finke, fast break. Not what the Tigers want to see. He slams it in. Central now up by 15. And a timeout called by Urbana. Well, the Maroons opened on an 8-0 run in the first minute and 20 seconds of the third quarter, and that is just disastrous for Coach Verdell Jones and the Tigers. But that's what I've mentioned. You look at the Centennial game. They scored more than 20 points in the final 4 minutes of that game, ultimately lost by 2. The Manual game, we did not bring that one to you on the Tigers Media Network. Same story. Closed out the game strong. If memory serves correctly, they were down, I want to say 10 with 2 or 3 minutes left on the board, and they came back and again lost that one by 2. You look at the Normal Community game, they were down by a pretty similar margin at a pretty similar time in the third quarter. About 6.5 minutes were left in that one, and they came back. Ultimately tied it up with 3 or 4 minutes left in the fourth, lost by 8. Out of bounds on Champaign Central and Terry. And that's the same play we saw last week against Normal Community. If the Tigers don't have any open looks, they'll throw it off of the opponent. Handoff to Sheen, and he almost lost it. He's in the corner now, and he's in trouble. Double teamed, throws it. Pass was, I think, intended just for whoever could get to it, and it's Peyton Sheen in the corner, has it tipped by Terry. Khalil Terry, and he'll turn it up late in the game. It was the fourth quarter of the Centennial game last Friday when he really turned it on and did a lot of his work. And now we're in the second half. Terry only has 2 points to his name. But down the stretch, the Maroons expect big things from him. Maroons retain possession, inbound the ball. And an offensive foul against the Maroons. It will go to the Tigers. 6 minutes and 5 seconds left in the third. One more time, the score 35-20. And Urbana's just got to play cool and collected here. Don't have to move the ball at some, rocket ship pace. Just look for a smart look, start putting points on the board, and get some stops on defense. Don't overdo it. Peyton Sheen to cross inside to Calhoun. Calhoun goes up off the glass. It's no good, and the rebound to Khalil Terry. Keon Gill all the way up to Finke, who gets it off the glass. A 17-point game. 5:30 left, and it's stolen. Gill looking to Finke. Finke from just outside the free throw line brings it back out. Central was the one team that kept giving Urbana problems last year. Tigers took 3 big losses to the Maroons. One of them, of course, was in the HSA regional competition. And it looks like that this game is heading towards what those games ended up being final score-wise. But you never know. 17-point game. Sheen pulling up a big 3 if it goes, doesn't go. See, that's not the look you need to take there. I get the intent. I know you're looking for a big 3 to get back into it. But what happens is that's just not a very high percentage look. That's rarely going to go. Jump ball arrow will favor the Tigers. That's rarely going to go, and you're just not going to get back in the game if you're not hitting shots. I mean, you got to get better looks than that. Not a knock on Sheen. I mean, he can knock down big 3s like that, but just ill-advised. And a turnover. Good hustle from Duke. Almost got the rebound, had it stolen away. Stolen away. Here's Akins. Akins driving inside, gets blocked. Perez Anderson going the other way. Gets it off the glass, can't get it off the glass. And he gets a 3-pointer look there, no good. Out of bounds, will stay with Urbana. Well, gosh, it's just had me fooled. I thought that was going to go in. It didn't. Duke will inbound for the Tigers. Yeah, not too much I can say about that one. Shot no good. Central takes it up the court. Pushing the pace. Alley-oop. Couldn't get it there. Here's Coleman, who knocked down several 3s in the first quarter. Knocks another one down there. His third 3-pointer of the evening, and a 20-point game and a timeout. Called by Urbana. Well, Urbana's only going to have 2 timeouts left now, and 20-point deficit with essentially 4 minutes left in the third. Not insurmountable, but the Tigers are going to have to draw something up here. The crowd has been largely taken out of this one. Central's cheerleaders on the court now doing a performance. Urbana, of course, on their own sideline is got their cheerleaders going. Shout out, of course, to public address announcer Nick Stillwell. He does a great job on the mic at these varsity basketball games, and he's, I assume, done a pretty good job tonight. Obviously, tough to hear him from under the headset, but Nick Stillwell, one of the better public address announcers you'll find. Well-liked math teacher at Urbana High School. Urbana High School is a school of just fantastic math teachers, really is. And, pretty good teachers in other subjects as well. Calhoun turns it over, threw that right to Terry. Rather, check it, that's Gill. And here's Cleo Terry. To Finke. Up to Terry, the alley-oop, no good. And here's Urbana. Urbana has yet to score in the second half. Goes to Miller Calhoun, and Cleo Terry says no. To put that lightly, he perhaps exclaimed no. My heavens. Here's Pickett. Pickett to Sheen, who will take that three again, and he knocks that one down. First bucket of the game for Urbana comes with 3:15 left in the third. Trims the deficit down to 17. And Tim Finke with the ball for the Maroons. Finke drives inside from just outside the paint, gets it to go. So you take the last two possessions, and Urbana has cut into the deficit by 1, trailing by 19 as Keanu Duke goes in, can't get it off the glass. And here goes Gill, who will slam it in. Quite the dunk from Keon Gill, puts the Maroons up by 21, brings some Urbana fans to their feet. And Urbana's got to answer back now. You got to realize that's only 2 points on the scoreboard. Out of bounds will favor Urbana. And Centennial, rather, I've been wanting to call them Centennial all night, but Central's brought quite the student section, and they're coming alive now. The Bleacher Bombs, as they're called. One of the better student sections you'll find in Central Illinois. They definitely do a good job. Doesn't appear to be any sort of theme they follow tonight, just came out in their Central maroon and black and white. Keon Gill draws the foul, so with 2:17 left, that's the 4th foul of the half for the Tigers. And if you're Urbana, you've just got to stay in the game and not let this one get out of hand. WCIA 3's Aaron Bennett has arrived. He's got his camera, capturing the action for tonight's newscast. Out of bounds, we'll go to Urbana. It's where, you know, if you're Urbana, this is the sort of comeback that's going to get a lot of play. If you can make it happen. And a three-pointer from Terry, he got it. Check that, that's Jonte Coleman, who knocks down his 4th three-pointer of the game. It's 47-23. The wheels falling off the bus, and Keanu Duke falling to the ground. Draws the foul. The first foul of the game for Jaden Akins. Second foul of the half for the Maroons. And here's Duke. Duke off of a Central player. I couldn't tell if that was Gill or Finke. One of those two knocks it out of bounds, and Urbana retains possession. 1:41 left in the third quarter. Here's Pickett. Pickett picked up by Gill and Terry. Looks and finds Duke, drives inside, has an open path to the basket, gets that one to go, cuts it back down to 22. Pass to Terry. Oh, what a player he is. Oh my goodness. Looked like he was gonna turn it over, went back up and dunked it home. Back to a 24-point game. It's Sheen. Gosh, what can you say? Sheen pulling up from outside the paint, can't get it to go. Rebound to Terry. Here goes Finke. Finke to Akins. And a timeout called by Urbana. So it's 51-25. Central, for the second time this evening, has doubled up Urbana. At one point it was 24-12, now 51-25. Central twice as many points as Urbana and then some. Just under a minute left in the third. Well, if you're the Tigers, you know, I don't want to call this one over by any means. But what you want to do here is you want to end this one on a strong note, of course. Be that completing the comeback or even just making it to where the final box score doesn't look too bad. And then you want to bounce back, and you want to play Rich Central High School, play them well tomorrow night. And, of course, that game begins at 5:45. You'll catch it live on the Tigers Media Network. Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening basketball on the Tigers Media Network.
I'm not going to guard dude, though.
Here's Ray Davis, I should say. And Peyton Sheen, a three that was doomed from the start. Too short on that one, but he's going to steal it back and driving inside, off the glass and one. That's one thing Peyton Sheen really excels at. That's what we've seen him do so often for the Tigers this season. He can draw the foul and get the basket to go. He made a play like that against St. Thomas More to seal the win for the Tigers. And with 25 seconds left in the third, can make it a 24-point game. 23-point game, excuse me, and he does so.
Let's go.
Pass goes to Finke, and I think in that last huddle, Coach Verdell Jones just told the Tigers to play with some heart. Play with the energy they started the game out with. And it's Finke. Can't get it. Rebound, Tyron Pickett. 3 seconds left in the quarter. 2-1 to Duke at the buzzer for three. No good, in and out. Can't get it to go. 23 seconds left. Or rather, 23 points the deficit for the Tigers as we enter the fourth quarter of play. Wow.
Hey.
As Urbana's cheerleaders take the court. Put on a little performance there, always nice to see. Central's cheerleaders are performing on their side of the court for their fans. And 23 points. All right, so you run the numbers. Urbana has got to score about 3 more points than Central each minute. That's about what it works out to. Obviously, because 8 divided by 24 is 3, so you modify that a little bit. Dunk's no good, but the foul, and Terry will go to the line. So Cleo Terry, who only has 4 points tonight, he'll likely add to that number a little bit here in the fourth. It'll be interesting to see how long Finke goes with his starters, Coach Finke, that is. And it's first free throw is good for Cleo Terry. And I mentioned Terry, 6'5" freshman, weighs in at 185. I've seen some sources have him as 6'4", some as 6'5". Gets it to go. 25 points once more. Here's Pickett. Tigers have to get it up the court. And going back to what I mentioned earlier, how about Lauren Cross for the girls basketball team? Notched her 1,000th career point last night in a loss against Normal West, at Normal West. That's good for Keon Gill off the glass. And 1,000 points is a mark that very few players for any school reach. So certainly Lauren Cross, I know, very happy to add her name to the list of 1,000-point scorers for the Tigers.
Yeah. No, that's what we want.
which I believe includes LaToya Bond and someone else.
They're going to come back. They at least going to have 40 on the board.
And here's Duke. Duke to Sheen. Sheen will shoot the three, and it goes in and out. Rebound, Keanu. Duke draws the foul. Sam Beasley. Beasley called for the foul, his second. And I know it seems like, this is completely unrelated to Duke or anyone, but I mean, to say what I'm about to say is not triggered by anything that just happened with that foul, but you want to make sure you keep your emotions in check, and that goes for Urbana and Central here. Crosstown rivalry game, it hasn't gone the way Urbana expected it to go, so you definitely want to make sure that you keep your emotions in check. Just, stay professional, keep it clean, keep a cool head, and don't start anything that could turn into something much bigger. Three-pointer is good for Perez. Perez makes it a 25-point, check that 22-point game. Now the Tigers are still playing with intensity, which is nice to see. Alley-oop, not quite the electric finish that could have resulted in, but a nice job from Khalil Terry to go in and notch his 8th point. And I feel like I was wrong to overlook Tim Finke earlier in the game because he's got 22 points and he's been the difference for Central tonight. In his final Urbana Central game. That's good for the Tigers. Tim Finke, the rare guy who's played in Centennial Urbana games and Central Urbana games for both Centennial and Central. Obviously, we see some guys transfer from all three schools to whichever one of those three schools, but not too often you see someone play those games at the varsity level for both schools, so sort of a neat figure there. I know Cologno Dawson played. Foul will go against Perez Anderson. Cologno Dawson played for Central his junior year, played against Centennial and Urbana, then moved to Urbana, played at Urbana his senior year, faced off against Central and Centennial, so kind of neat to think of the guys who've done that. Jaden Akins at the line. Dawson, of course, graduated from Urbana last season, but I saw him earlier here, so he's in attendance. And I mentioned this attendance, who's who in the community. A lot of people that you see frequently at Park District games, at middle school games. Just people curious, want to come out and see the rivalry, have been here tonight. Duke will shoot the three, no good. And here goes Central. This is Booker. No foul was called there. Tim Finke went up, got the board, and then had it stolen away. Here's Duke. Duke to Sheen. Sheen for three. Sheen no good. Not quite good there from Pickett. And he steals that one away. What a steal. No foul is called. To the corner, a three for Central. They can't get it.
No shooter.
Tim Finke for two. Can't get that one either. Really not the best look for Central to keep trying to shoot threes and such. This late in the game, up by as many points as they are. I mean, I'm not. It's not like the worst thing in the world to me, but it's probably going to rub some people the wrong way. Timeout called by Urbana. This is going to be Coach Jones's final timeout. Tyron Pickett helped to the bench by an assistant coach.
Shut up, bro. I ain't trying to hear it.
A whale of a job he did on defense down there, but I guess he perhaps stepped on his foot wrong, injured his, looks like they're tendon to his ankle. It does not appear to be serious. He was able to walk back to the bench mostly under his own power. We'll keep an eye on that. And how the narrative has changed throughout this one. The story going into this one was Urbana played these sort of games close, for the whole game until the very end of the fourth quarter and couldn't quite finish, and now they're not even in a position to where they can close this one out strong and win it. So it's how we've seen these Urbana Central games go these past few years. Central has just been the one team, for whatever reason, who's really had Urbana's number. You know, we've played Centennial pretty well. We've played other schools that we face frequently, Danville, Bloomington, just Big 12 schools. We play the Big 12 pretty well, generally speaking. We don't win them all, but we keep them close. But Central these past few years has just pulled away and really seemed to just have a handle on how to play these Tigers. Duke goes inside and gets it to go. It's just certainly a narrative that Urbana will have to try and wait until next season to change. No scheduled games between these two schools throughout the rest of the regular season. Gill was fouled. Terry went in, and I'm not quite sure if that's the most necessary thing in the world to slam that home, but he gave the Central crowd something to smile about. I mentioned no scheduled games between these two schools through the rest of the season, but there's a chance they might face each other in the playoffs. First free throw from Gill is no good. Pickett on the bench is kind of laying on the ground. Trainer from Carl tending to him. Looks like they've given Pickett some Gatorade. Just get some fluid in him there. Perhaps a cramp or something. I don't want to speculate, but that's the update there. I don't expect we'll see Tyron back into this one. Not knowing, of course, what the situation is down there, but at this point, the way this game has gone, I'm not quite sure why you'd throw any of your starters out there. And it looks like Central has, to some degree, called off the Dogs. Tim Finke's on the bench. Jogging to the bench, Jaden Akins. I see Quentin Peacock out there. Gill is still out there, as well as Terry and Jonte Coleman. But Jalen Booker is out there, and Quentin Peacock is out there. Jonte Coleman goes inside and gets it to go. 65 to 37, 3:30 left in the fourth. And a three-pointer there from Duke. And this adds a layer of intrigue to the Rich Central game tomorrow evening. The Tigers usually play these Saturday afternoon home games pretty well. I keep saying afternoon, 5:45 start. It's probably more accurate to say evening. But they usually play those Saturday home games, I'll say, pretty well. And trying to bounce back from this one. It'll be no small order because this is not the performance you want to put out in a game like this, but Rich Central, I mean, that won't be a game with near this attendance, so perhaps a quiet evening is what the Tigers need to recover.
If we get big, maybe. And he's playing varsity. He's going to get scholarships.
Peyton Sheen gets that one to go. Sheen, Urbana's leading, the leading scorer for Urbana is Duke with 12. Sheen has 11. I assumed that Sheen was the leading scorer. He's not. And he's 2 of 2 at the line, so now he's got a share of the lead.
But if y'all come back on these freshmen or whoever these dudes is in the game.
And Central takes a timeout.
Back passing, bro? My fault, bro. I did not know. Always
The next jump, this is going to be a 30-second timeout rather than a full timeout. The next jump ball arrow favors Urbana. If we see a jump ball, which I'm not at all sure that we'll see, and if we do, it probably won't affect the outcome of this game.
Jonte wouldn't be in the game if Bailey was here.
The 5 for Urbana includes Chris Cross. Also in the game, Tariq Keel. Isaiah Jackson is in for the Maroons, and this is where they've kind of adjusted the lineup. Torius Caston is in. And a travel. Zach Glass comes in for the Tigers. As well as Chico Lipscomb. Chico, a face we saw pretty frequently during football season. Now he gets his name called on the hardwood.
Everybody got PT this game.
Zach Glass for 3. Zach Glass. When it comes down time to the three-point competitions we'll see in the postseason, Zach Glass is probably the favorite to represent Urbana. This win will put Central at 9-5. It'll drop Urbana down to 10, rather 5-10. So 9-5 for Central and 5-10 for the Tigers. Urbana averages around 62 points per game. I believe it's 62 and some change. They'll win this game. They got 44 right now, so likely not in that neighborhood. Peyton Sheen for 3, and he knocks that one down, so who knows. 69-47 with a minute 55 left. And a three-pointer for the Maroons, no good.
We got time. We got time to come back.
Here we go with Peyton Sheen. Sheen driving inside, and he gets it to go, and one. The Tigers may not lose it by 20. Peyton Sheen has taken the scoring lead, has 17 now. That's what I talked about earlier. So good at driving inside, drawing contact, and getting the and one.
Jaden Bowie in the cut.
Why can't you be quiet like your brother? Is that a possibility?
And here's Sheen. Sheen at the line, and he puts the and one. Might as well start calling him +1 or some nickname like that. I'll have to think about that one tonight. +1 is a pretty lame nickname.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Three-pointer for Central, no good. See, it's just not a very good look if you're still shooting threes. Up by 19 points with under a minute and 30 seconds left to go. It's just, I don't.
Steal the ball.
You know, I've got some views on sports that are a little unorthodox, but I see that's just not. They're not even close to going in. I don't know why you'd put yourself out there like that. That's the kind of three you should get with this sort of time left on the clock. Drive inside, get you an old school and one. So here we go with the Maroons at the line. No good on the and one. Out of bounds will stay with Central. So Central up by 21 points. Shout out to Jason Liggett behind our camera tonight. Does a good job, and I'm sure tonight is no difference. and a travel. Possession back to Urbana with 45 left on the board. Urbana will get some shots at the free throw line. Again, another reminder, our next broadcast tomorrow night, 5:45, as the Tigers host Rich Central High School. A game on the Tigers Media Network. Unrelated to our coverage, but the girls basketball team was to travel to Ohio tonight to play in the 15th annual Classic in the Country. But due to poor weather, the Tigers decided to play it safe and not visit that tournament. Probably wise. And good luck to our wrestling team tomorrow as they host the Tiger Invitational. That game at Urbana Middle School. That tournament at Urbana Middle School would be the proper lingo for that one. That's an all-day event. We've covered it in the past, but we won't be out there tomorrow. Luke Luffman is back in the singlet for the Tigers. Defending state champion, has committed to the University of Illinois to wrestle there. And he's come back strong from an early injury. I don't think anyone realized that was the 1-and-1, Central included. They pick the ball up and take it down the court. 15 seconds are left in this one. Ball up the court to Sheen, who will pull up, take the three. Garbage time three, no good. Under a minute left to go. And inside, Jaden Bowie. As time expires, Urbana one more shot falls short, and that's our ball game. Central victorious, 75-51. The Tigers were expected to compete in this one. Didn't quite make it the ball game that several people thought it would be, but they will look to bounce back tomorrow night after dropping this one to Central by 24 points. So, for the whole crew, Jason Liggett, I'm Joey Wright. We thank you for tuning into this presentation of Tigers basketball on the Tigers Media Network. We hope to see you for more Tigers basketball tomorrow night as the Tigers look to bounce back from this loss. Thank you.